this is one type of Dakini practice, right? So we can work with it as a mandala principle. We can work with it in this way. And so I was just saying to some people on the break that, who just published a book about all of the Dakini principle from this this way of looking at it is Soltramalioni. So what's it called? Wisdom Rising. Yeah. So you can check that out. I'm pretty sure she has the same information as I do in there. I haven't fully read it yet. And so that's one way of looking at it. And then, another way we can look at it is when you're looking at your other sadhanas and your other practices, you can begin to look at the mandala and you can look for the dakinis. You can look for them, and then you can also work with very specific practices like the lion-faced dakini, like Vashri dakini, like Tara. You could do chud. You can do all of these kinds of practices that also harness these individual energies. And then from a medical practice, another way that we would look at this is that we can use this practice as an inner mandala with the medicine Buddha, as the medicine Buddha being already fully and complete in the center. And then we have the dakinis surrounding. So I'll go over that as well. And then we'll end today with doing the Bamhari Nisa mantra together. And when you're doing things on a dakini day, so what you can do is you make offerings. You offer a little bit of alcohol and a little bit of tea, and you give, I usually give like crackers and fruits and raisins and things like this. And you make like a little offering bowl, and you give that to the dakinis. They have their own sort of bowl, and then you can have like a dakini feast together. So a dakini feast is something where a group of people might get together and have like a soak, basically. And then they would take a remainder from their plate. Everyone puts a remainder back on the plate, and then you offer that outside to the dakinis in a clean place. So you're basically offering, and the symbolism of when you're in a soak or you're in something where you're giving offerings back from your own plate, it's really so that you don't have your own miserliness or your attachment, so that you're actually giving that back and saying, yes, I want to offer that back to you. So you can do that with the dakini practice. But we can look at it from the point of view of eliminating obstacles as a healing practice. So this is very frequently done. I have a friend of mine that I teach at his center very often, and he is such a dedicated practitioner that he does online forums for dakini practice and protector practice and medicine Buddha practice. And if you're interested in joining in on those, I can direct you to that. So I'm pretty sure he's online today at some point with his online people doing dakini practice. So this particular eliminating obstacles practice comes from the Yuthong tradition. So that's who wrote the 4 tantras, the 4 medical tantras. So you all know I'm a Tibetan doctor, and that's my shtick. So not a Dharma teacher, I'm a doctor. So this particular way of working is really working with an inner mandala, a sort of more secretive approach. And what we're doing is we're trying to eliminate obstacles to the path of healing. So that can either be for oneself or all other beings. And obviously if you're in a human body, healing is a great thing to have access to. So in this particular practice, very often you'll see this done with people who have some familiarity with a practice associated with Tibetan medicine, which is the Yuthong practice. And having just medicine Buddha is enough. and many of you have received Medicine Buddha from me or other teachers, so that's fine. And what we are doing is we're imagining, we're going to use the Medicine Buddha because not everyone's familiar with Yutok. So you imagine the Medicine Buddha in the center. You imagine the Medicine Buddha is holding the Arura plant, the Myrobalan plant, which is a Terminella tubula, or a Harataki in Ayurvedic medicine, in his right hand. And in his left hand, of course, he holds his bowl of nectar, of healing Amrita, yeah? And these are symbolism of relative and absolute truth, okay? And he's in the center. If you're imagining the representation of Yutok, who's the father of Tibetan medicine, if you will, it's slightly different. But for our purposes, let's imagine the Medicine Buddha in the center. And then in the very front, we have a sort of different arrangement than what I just gave you. In the front, we have a white dakini, and she's playing a piwang, which is kind of like a guitar type thing. And on the right-hand side, so we're just going to imagine that I'm Medicine Buddha, right? And so in the front, I have this white dakini, and she's playing a piwang. And then on the right-hand side to the south here, I have the yellow dakini, and she's got a trumpet that's made of an eagle bone, like an eagle's leg bone, okay? And then behind is a red dakini who's blowing a kongling. Does everyone know what a kongling is? It's the thigh bone trumpet that you see in Chud, okay? And then to the left is our karmic, or our green dakini, and she's holding the melong, the mirror, okay? So slightly different than what we just described, still dakinis. So there's thousands of dakinis, okay? So I'm just giving you two different possible practices that you can work with, okay? So what we do is we imagine this, we imagine ourselves in this manner. We imagine ourselves, we find our breath, we find our seat. Here we are as Sangye Menla, the Medicine Buddha, stainless, pure. And then in front is our white dakini. To the right is the yellow. Behind us is the red. And to the left is our green. They all have these musical instruments. And so we're imagining that these four dakinis are surrounding the Medicine Buddha with all of their perfect, pure body-mind speech, and that their beautiful music and this mirror that they're holding is radiating and inviting all the Buddhas, all the Bodhisattvas, all the protectors, everyone is coming in and they're invited into the inner mandala. And once they're in the inner mandala, we basically invite them even further by saying Vajra, Samadza, Za, Hum, Bam, Ho. So you can write me and I'll give you this information, okay? And with all of that, all of these dakinis, all of the bodhisattvas, all of the protectors, everyone dissolves into Menla, Sangye Menla, which you're doing a more self-generation of you as Menla. And then you can do the mantra for eliminating obstacles, which is very, very simple. It's Om Maha Guna Siddhi Hom. Say it together with me. Om Maha Guna Siddhi Hom. 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 Om Maha Guna Siddhi Hom.
Om Mahaguna Siddhi Hum. 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 Mahaguna Siddhi Om. Om 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 Mahaguna Siddhi Om.
And then traditionally we then dedicate the merit, but we're not done yet, so we're not going to do that. So now we're going to go back to the previous mantra that I explained, the Bam Hari Nisa.